The Walt Disney Company and movie theaters all over the world are hoping, wishing, praying that Snow White can come around and start saving them from the doldrums that are Captain America: Brave New World. Nothing is working, and the entire cinematic industry could be at the edge of collapse unless something can come by and save them instead. And it turns out that according to box office projections, it will not be Rachel Zegler. We'll show you how bad the opening could be right now. Hello, folks, and welcome back to a dandy of a day coming to you from somewhere sunny, USA. We wish we could say the same about movie theaters, but they are having a terrible start to 2025. And yes, many are blaming the Walt Disney Company, whistling straight into the graveyard along with the box office pundits and analysts who all were dancing upon the victory that was supposed to be Anthony Mackie's Captain America, but it did not come to pass. Now they're passing the buck and saying, surely Snow White will give us more luck. But yuck is what they're getting instead. We've got the numbers. We'll show you how low it could go for Snow White right now. All right, folks, take a look at this. They are praying that Snow White is going to come in and save them. We read that on the Pro Show, I suppose, Tuesday. Now here's what's setting in with reality. This is out of firstshowing.net. It says another promo trailer for the live-action Snow White looks terrible. It's by Alex Billington. It says, point me in the right direction. The right direction is to skip this. Disney has unveiled a new 60-second promo trailer for Snow White, the next live-action reimagining of a classic animated movie based on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Make way for the magical movie event. This fantastical music adventure journeys back into the timeless story featuring bashful, dark, dopey, grumpy, happy, sleepy, and sneezy, although they are all sleazy in that CGI. With all new original songs, yada, 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 you get the idea. But when Disney's getting hit with headlines like this, it's not looking good. And Vash, they've tried to mitigate this a wee bit. And the way they've done that is they cut down on the screen time for Rachel Zegler in this most recent trailer, but that's not all, Vash. We've now discovered that in the 30-second TV trailer, they've actually reduced Zegler's screen time there in 30 seconds down to 7 seconds, and it's in like 1 second brief snippets. It's as if they're trying to hide her in every way they can. Vash, tell us about this screen time reduction that she's getting already.
Oh, it's so absolutely wild. When I saw the new trailer that was put out on YouTube, I looked at it and I went, am I seeing something? I think Rachel Zegler is featured less in this trailer than she had been in prior promotional materials. And so I totaled up the total runtime by editing a trailer and removing all frames that didn't have her in it and just left the ones that did. And so when you compare it to the Snow White trailer that was released December 3rd, 2024, had a runtime of about 144 seconds, or 2 minutes and 24 seconds, and her screen time was about 68 of those seconds. So it was about 47% of the trailer, which you might expect for your lead actress. Well, with this new trailer that was released February 14, 2025, that was about a 60-second trailer, and her screen time was only 17 seconds. Or about 28% of that trailer. So it's about a 50% reduction from one to the next. And again, that's a very short trailer. You'd think you'd want to feature more, not less. And then I was looking this morning, they released a new promo on the official Walt Disney Twitter account. And it looks like they were promoting the villain more than they were promoting her. She actually takes up the majority of that screen time, and they make a big emphasis on the snow.
I have a hard time, Vash, differentiating her and the villain. It's really tough for me, honestly. I mean,
maybe I should be more direct with that. They were featuring the evil queen more than they were featuring Snow White in that specific promo spot that they released on Twitter just a few hours ago. So there definitely has been a pulling back, let's say, of Rachel Zegler's appearances from these specific promotional materials, which, I don't know, might reflect their enthusiasm about this actress and her inclusion in the film.
So why might they be doing it, folks? Well, let's take a look at this. This is out of Outkick, and we're down in the article just a wee bit. Snow White tracking isn't looking good for Disney. Now, here's what you need to know. For the months of February and March, Disney is essentially the only train in town to drive cinemas and bring in revenues. Captain America: Brave New World is on track to lose 70% in its second weekend. It is a major flop. It's not going to make the kind of money they need. In fact, domestically, they're hoping for 30 million in the second weekend, and if it has a similar drop in the third weekend, they're down at the 15 million mark, and it's over. So this movie is done after 2 weeks. That means they cannot get to Snow White fast enough. But the problem is that whereas they want Snow White to be their knight in shining armor, and a socialist one at that, out of Germany, well, it's not shaping up to be anything like it. Says per a Deadline Hollywood report, box office tracking firm Quorum suggests that the opening weekend for Snow White could wind up in the $63 to $65 million range. For context, the Angelina Jolie film Maleficent opened to roughly $70 million in 2014. Adjusted for inflation, $70 million then is now over $92 million now. And I would remind folks that movie ticket prices have actually outstripped significantly inflation. So if you want to go back to 2014, the average ticket price was in the upper $8 range or lower $9 range, depending on who you talk to. Today, the average ticket price for Captain America: Brave New World was about $17. Think about that. So adjusted for inflation, they're correct. Adjusted for the change in movie ticket prices specifically, this is horrendous. So Snow White is tracking roughly $30 million below Maleficent, and it's even worse considering the film's budget. As of November 2024, Disney admitted that the production budget had ballooned to nearly $270 million. That figure doesn't account for marketing, which can often double the cost. Hey, Outkick is reporting the real stuff. Thank goodness. We love you, Outkick. Where is this on the trades? Still, estimating a conservative $150 million marketing spend puts the total outlay at roughly $420 million. This, folks, this is wonderful to see an outlet. Go support Outkick. Go do it, because this is honest reporting. That means this movie needs how much, Jonas, to break even? What does Snow White need?
I'm going to probably guess $1 billion.
Yeah, let's be nice to him. Let's give him a little 900 million. That's what I'm going to say. I agree, Jonas. I agree that they need $1 billion. But I'm going to be nice.
100 million. I'm not sure it makes that much of a difference.
You're exactly. But just so we don't make headlines where somebody says, these ridiculous panelists on the Pro Channel spread propaganda and claim that Snow White needs $1 billion. We'll say 900 million, and that way we won't be sensational. They'll overlook it. Here's the deal. It needs 900 million. It really needs $1 billion. No, I didn't say that. It needs 900 million, and it's going to open with 63 to 65 million. Well, it's going to need 100% hold. Like, it's going to need a 0% drop for about a month to even have a chance at breaking even, and that's not going to happen. Panel, I hand it to you. What say you when it comes to just how bad this is looking? And remember, it could get worse.
I would suggest that it is worse. The numbers that we have that we've been able to verify that, came from an amazing writer, Carolyn Reed, indicate that we don't have all of the numbers for Snow White yet as far as the actual spend. And that won't come out until sometime in March, correct, Jonas?
No, we won't know the real spend on Snow White until sometime next year.
Oh, goodness.
This is I forget the name of the actual entity, but we've been tracking it. I'm sure Caroline Reed will have it as soon as it's available, but they don't have to file the tax return until the following year. So if they want their tax credits, which at this point, with the amount of overspending that's gone into this film, they need those tax credits. We won't know until 2026.
And that, Jonas, is how they get away with this stuff, because at that point, we'll report it, but nobody in the mainstream will report it. And they're, we're really the mainstream now. They're the legacy. But the legacy is never going to go back and admit how wrong they were. And so this just cycles.
Agreed. This is something where, we don't even know how much the Acolyte cost at this point, and we won't know until next year what the Acolyte cost. And currently that's sitting at 230 million. And I think they're still trying to count the pennies that they made off of the Acolyte at the moment.
Now wait a minute, Jonas. You're telling me that according to the legacy media logic, they would say with a straight face that the Acolyte costs more than Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Just checking. I'm just trying to keep the P's and Q's in line here for what it is they're lying to us about today.
That's the thing, right? So you have, I mean, think about the Acolyte now. I understand they're, a bunch of production budget, maybe sets and so forth. I'm not sure, but the above the line talent and that number, considerably less, I would think, than Captain America: Brave New World. So, discounting that whole thing. But I was doing some calculations in the back on Snow White and what it would have to make, and yeah, I mean, I think Outkick is reporting that you roughly have a $270 million budget on this picture, and we know that they went back and reshot it multiple times. So, like Jonas said, we won't know the real numbers on that until about a year after it releases, which is very unfortunate. But we had to assume it is at the very least at $270 or $300 million. And when you account for this big marketing push that they're going to be having, yeah, I think your numbers are accurate. At the very least, $900 million. I don't think that's really going to come. And the thing is you mentioned it before, Maleficent and it getting $70 million on its opening weekend. I think Cinderella was very similar in that regard, and that was so long ago. And remember, China used to support these films far more actively. They are not, I don't think, going to be inclined to do that this time around. So, I mean, this is extremely bad for Disney. I am very curious to see what the cinema score will actually be for this, because unlike Marvel, which is very front-loaded, these things can possibly leg out, maybe perhaps internationally, especially where the controversy maybe is less coming out of some of the cast on this film. But I don't know. It doesn't really bode well for this. I think this is going to be a huge box office bomb for Disney, which is going to be 2 in a row.
Real life fake wizard, when it comes to Snow White, what's your prediction for where this is going to be? I've said before, I think this could land somewhere around 67. I'm actually above where it's being predicted right now otherwise, but not by much. 67 is still embarrassing. Do you think there's any chance that the Barbie crowd shows up to save this film, or is this just done for?
I think you guys are all wrong, frankly. I think you're wrong. I think the article's wrong. There definitely wasn't any reshoots, okay? This was a one and done Snow White. They shot it in one and it was done and it was great. They definitely didn't need another 23 days to reshoot it. The budget was closer to $180 million. It definitely wasn't pushing $300 million. And you know what? Marketing is free, okay? You don't count marketing in the budget to a film. Guys, this is gonna be movie of the year. Okay, Snow White is easily gonna be movie of the year. And oh wait, that's not working for Captain America. Uh-oh.
Change of strategy, quick, shift it.
You look surprised.
What do you mean? What do you mean the budget's real? $270 million is real. Oh. We're cooked.
They're cooked, folks.
We're cooked.
Well, it was fun while they tried to stick with that strategy, but as Real Life Wizard has pointed out, it's not pointing them in a good direction anymore. Everybody has found out what's really going on. These things cost way more than they actually say. Culture, I see your pursed lips as if you have one more thing to add to the topic, and then we've got breaking news we must hit that's just come out.
I think your break-even point is 700 and somewhere around 720 million, 735, somewhere in there.
How do you derive that, Culture? How do you drive the 720?
Well, I take what I believe the actual spend to be based on this recent reporting and some other information and Caroline Reed's information. And then I take what I believe that number is actually, and I multiply it by 2.8. And that gives
now, are you including print, ad, and marketing?
Yeah, that includes ads and print, A&P, P&A.
Okay, well, wait a minute. So Jonas has said $1 billion. I say 900 million. You say 700 and something million. Okay,
break even.
Okay, so here's the deal then. And by the way, folks, they never want break even. They always want a 15% increase over the investment. Otherwise, it wasn't a wise ROI.
What a horrible use of money, by the way, on a 15% on $400 to $600 billion.
So Culture, how far short would this fall if the let's say it lands on 65 million domestic opening? That's going to give it something like a 130 on the worldwide opening weekend, maybe 150. Maybe it pulls in more than we expect internationally. Where's it going to land versus that 700 and change?
So are you taking for granted the early numbers that they threw out there for what the projected earnings are? Like the $70 million here domestically on opening weekend? Is that
No, I'm throwing that in with what I would assume would be the worldwide. So let's say it has about a 50-50 ratio, but it's probably will have a 40-60. 40 is the domestic, 60 is the international. So I'm
Right.
coming up to about 150 for the opening weekend global.
Yeah, that's about right.
And then I'm saying, okay, for easy math, 50% decline from first weekend to second weekend. How short do you think we're going to be from even the 700? Like, it can't make that either.
No. It's I believe they'll lose about $200 million. I think I've been pretty consistent on that, maybe more. The reason being is I think much like Captain America we're watching right now, I think the film is going to struggle in its second, third, and fourth weekend. The songs have been less than the new songs, the garbage that they inserted to replace the classics from the original. Those have been less than impressive. And they kind of feel very repetitive with Disney right now. They seem to stick to a particular formula. It's almost like AI would be writing the lyrics and the score underneath it. I mean, I'm not saying that, just seems like it. So when I look at that, it's going to be just like Captain America's going to struggle to crawl over $400 million. So, I mean, potentially somebody may jump out there and be correct. This could lose $300 million. This could lose $500 million. You don't know because, again, they only collect. This is the other thing that nobody tells you. They only collect half of those box office receipts. I know we talk about it all the time. I think we've already said it once during the course of the show, but at best, across the global and the domestic market, they only collect about 50% of box office receipts.
Right. It's slightly higher domestically. It's slightly lower internationally.
Lower internationally.
Good night, game over, drive home safely. Folks, this video is done. But before we all head home, we only ask one thing. Folks, as you get ready to head on out, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and share your thoughts, for a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Waste not that beautiful personality of yours. And folks, we would say as you get ready to head out the door, that it has been an honor to spend time with you, an attitude of gratitude each and every time that you elect to join together with us. Breaking bread and breaking entertainment, well, the industry. No, we like entertainment. It's the industry that irks us sometimes. Well, it was a good time. We hope you had a good time. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
Want it all, so I give them cannonball. Yeah.
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Arizona. Arizona. Pineapple pizza, Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up. 3 days of you and me.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.